what would actually happen to your brain and your body if you just completely skipped sleep for a full week? I mean, seriously, think about that for a second. We all know the miserable feeling of a rough night of tossing and turning, but what if you just stopped sleeping entirely? Well, today we're going to dive into this fascinating and honestly kind of terrifying biological journey. Welcome to This Explainer, where we're breaking down the exact step-by-step physical and mental unraveling that happens when you deny your body its absolute most fundamental need. Imagine staying awake for 7 straight days. We are talking about 168 consecutive hours, no afternoon power naps, no resting your eyes on the train commute, just endless, continuous waking hours with your eyes wide open. It might sound like an impossible challenge or maybe some extreme stunt, but exploring what would really happen reveals some incredible secrets about how we're actually wired. So here is the roadmap for this grueling descent. At day 1, we hit the brain fog. By day 3, your brain is shifting right into survival mode. And if you somehow make it to day 7, you're looking at total system failure. Let's walk through this timeline together. All right, let's start with the first 24 hours. Okay, so you've skipped one night of sleep. It happens to the best of us, right? Maybe you were working late, cramming for a test, or dealing with a crying baby. But almost immediately, your brain starts to lag. You're going to notice you struggle to focus, and simple, everyday tasks that you normally do on autopilot just become incredibly hard to pull off. To put into perspective just how impaired you are after only 24 hours, take a look at your reaction time. It slows down so dramatically that it's basically comparable to someone who has been drinking alcohol. Think about what that actually means. If you get behind the wheel of a car after pulling an all-nighter, your brain is processing the road, the traffic, and the pedestrians with the exact same sluggish delay as if you were legally intoxicated. It's a pretty sobering realization of how fast cognitive decline kicks in. On top of that, during this first day, you're going to be irritable, forgetful, and highly emotionally sensitive. Your emotional baseline just drops. Someone might make a totally mild joke, and you take it as this massive insult. Or you walk into a room and literally have no idea why you're there. Even though you are physically still up and moving around, neurologically speaking, your brain is already desperately begging you to please just go to sleep. Moving on to 2 to 3 days awake. So now you're crossing the 48-hour mark, and the effects escalate from just feeling a bit foggy to a systemic breakdown of your body's defenses. Let's look at how this builds up. Step 1. Your immune system starts actively weakening, so fighting off basic bugs gets way harder. Step 2. The physical pain really sets in. We're talking throbbing headaches, blurred vision, and a severe lack of coordination. You'll probably find yourself clumsily bumping into doorways. And step 3. Your memory becomes totally unreliable, and your emotions are swinging wildly. Tiny, everyday problems suddenly feel completely overwhelming. Spilling your coffee doesn't just feel annoying, it feels like an absolute tragedy. And then we hit 72. That's 72 hours or 3 full days without a single second of sleep. Hitting this milestone pushes your brain entirely into survival mode. Your higher level cognitive functions basically just shut down, so your body can conserve enough energy to keep your heart beating and your lungs breathing. Now, this is where things take a genuinely terrifying turn. At 72 hours, a lot of people start experiencing actual hallucinations. Reality starts to blur. You might see shadows darting across the room out of the corner of your eye, shadows that simply aren't there. You might hear people calling your name, or just hear sounds that don't exist. Your ability to think clearly plummets so hard that making a simple decision, like what to eat or what shirt to put on, becomes this incredibly confusing, impossible puzzle. Pushing forward into days 4 to 6. If we push into days 4, 5, and 6, this goes from miserable to truly dangerous. Your body is operating under extreme, punishing stress. Cortisol and other stress hormones are constantly spiking, meaning your heart is forced to work much, much harder just to keep you upright, and your blood pressure shoots way up. To cope with this, your body introduces a fascinating yet super dangerous defense mechanism: microsleeps. These are brief little episodes where your brain literally forces itself to fall asleep for a few seconds, even if you are standing up and your eyes are wide open. Basically, your brain unplugs you for 3 to 5 seconds at a time to grab whatever micro-recovery it can. Obviously, if you're driving or operating machinery, a microsleep can be instantly fatal. By the time you reach day 6, the symptoms are catastrophic. You'll be dealing with severe confusion. Your speech becomes incredibly slow, slurred, and almost unrecognizable. Your physical balance is so shot you can barely stand upright without swaying. And honestly, perhaps the most frightening part, you might have trouble recognizing familiar people or remembering exactly where you are. Communication just entirely breaks down because your brain can't process information fast enough to hold a normal conversation. Your brain can no longer function and your body is thoroughly, deeply exhausted. Which brings us to the dangerous seventh day. We've reached 168 hours. By day 7, guys, this is no longer just severe fatigue. This is a total system failure. Your brain and body have completely lost the ability to coordinate and work properly. At this stage, the extreme risk of life-threatening medical complications is absolutely not an exaggeration. Prolonged sleep deprivation of this magnitude puts such an immense strain on your heart, your vascular system, and your neurological pathways that without immediate medical treatment and forced rest, it crosses the line into becoming fatal. But luckily, here is a comforting fact. Most humans literally cannot reach this 7th day naturally on their own willpower. Because the body is such a brilliant survival machine, it will eventually just force a shutdown to save itself. Long before you hit day 7, your brain is going to overpower your willpower and force you into a deep sleep through sheer exhaustion or those sudden microsleeps we talked about. You would literally collapse into sleep before you could stay awake this long. So, why exactly do we need sleep so badly? The big question is, why does the absence of this one activity tear our biology apart so violently? Well, because sleep is definitely not just an empty void where we do nothing. It's a period of intense, active internal work. While you sleep, your body is performing incredible restorative functions. Your brain is busy archiving memories so you can actually learn. Your body is physically repairing damaged cells and muscle tissue. Your immune system is actively rebuilding itself to fight off viruses. Vital hormones that regulate your appetite, stress, and growth get carefully balanced out. And your heart, it finally gets the crucial downtime it desperately needs to recover. This proves without a doubt that sleep isn't a luxury. It is a non-negotiable biological necessity for survival. I really want to leave you with this wild thought. Your body can survive without food longer than it can function normally without sleep. Really let that sink in. We spend so much time worrying about our diets and our nutrition, but the simple act of just closing our eyes and sleeping is actually more immediately critical to our physical and cognitive survival. One good night's sleep protects your heart, strengthens your immunity, and keeps your brain healthy. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I've got one final question for you. Are you going to underestimate the power of sleep tonight? The next time you think about casually staying awake all night just to binge watch a show or finish up a project, remember the 7-day descent we just went through. I really hope this completely changes the way you value a good night's rest. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to keep exploring the fascinating science of how we work, make sure to hit subscribe. Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.